Security class, write down the notes. Security class. Security in HFM is applicable in 5 steps. Security in HFM is applicable in 5 steps. First step. First step. Tick. T-I-C-K. Tick. Use security for entities in application settings. Tick. Use security for entities. Put it in double quotes. Whatever the attribute you are seeing in the screen, right? Use security for entities in double quotes. Tick. Use security for entities in application settings. Second point. Define security classes in entity dimension. Define security classes in entity dimension. Example AS, EU, US. Example AS, EU, US. Define security classes in entity dimension. Third step. Write down. Third step. Load security file. Load security file with these security classes. Load security file with these security classes. Fourth step. Fourth step. Assign these security classes. Sorry, fourth step. Reload metadata. Fourth step. Reload metadata. Fourth step. Reload metadata. Fifth step. Assign ASSIGN. Assign these security classes. Assign these security classes to users. To users in shared services. Assign these security classes to users in shared services. So these are the 5 steps, right? So fifth step you have to write sub steps. I'll tell you. First listen, right, about the explanation. So what is security? First of all, security means I don't want, for example, yeah, for example, right? We have Hari, Manju, and Ajay. I don't want Ajay to see US data. I don't want Manju to see Europe data. I don't want Hari to see Asia data. So I'll define the security classes. US, AS, EU. US means US entities, AS means Asia entities, and EU means Europe entities. Yes, I'll put all the security classes like this for every entity. For example, it is New Jersey, so it is a US company. I put a security class US. That's it. And then in the shared services, right, I assign these to users automatically. When they open whatever the security class you give, right, only those entities they can see the data. In security and process management we discuss this in detail. Okay, as of now, yes, please stick to this theory part. I'll show you how it works. Okay, so first step is tick use security for entities. So here when you go to the application settings, see, here I can give security for accounts, entities, scenarios, product, movement, data source, multi-gap, and ICP also. Right, but practically in live, right, we give security to only entities and scenario. I cannot give security to product. If I have 10,000 products, I cannot say Ajay has to load only data for Lux or Synthol. Likewise, I cannot give. Practically, it is not possible. Likewise, accounts also, I cannot say Ajay has to load only incomes data, Hari has to load only expense data, and Manju has to load only asset data, like that. It is not possible. So, in live always I give security to entities and scenarios, yes, 100%. Ajay will deal with only actual data, Hari will deal with only budget data, right? Manju will deal with only forecast data. It is possible. So wherever you go, 90% of the projects you see security for only these two dimensions. Clear? Okay, first I ticked I want security for entities. Because I ticked for entities, I have to give security classes for entities. Now come here, go to entity dimension. Here I created all the security classes. See? So yes. Now can I load metadata directly? Here, so here, if I load metadata directly, it will throw an error message because these security classes should be loaded first. So when you see here, right, security classes, right? Just give me 1 second. Downloads SCC. Where is SCC? Yeah. See, open this. So your security file will be like this. There will be 4 parts in the security file. I'm removing everything. So these security classes you have to load, right? Otherwise, if you don't load these security classes, right, you cannot load the metadata. So there is a TG. So I'm removing this, right? So yes, here in the metadata, I put for total geography, I put TG. Okay. Yes. Now I'm saving this file as yes, 12th September. Yes. Now I'll load the metadata without loading the security file. You see what happens. It will throw an error message. Security class does not exist. That is the reason. First we have to load the security file and then we load the metadata. Expand load tasks. Double click on application elements. Directly I'm loading the metadata, skipping the third one, right? So yes, always replace load. It will throw an error message. So what is the error message? See? Okay. So TG is already there. So we'll do one thing. So we'll change it to TGY. Okay. I'll put it as TGY. Now save this file and load it. Done. Now again click on update, choose security file. Now see, load. It will throw an error message. Now it will clearly show the error message. Security class does not exist. See? Security class does not exist TGY because we did not load the security file with TGY. It threw an error message. So third step, you understood, right? We have to load the security file. Now we'll go to the security file. I put it as here TGY. I'll explain you what is this users and groups, role access, security class access in security chapter. Okay, right. Come here, choose file. Where is download security? Yes, load. Security file is loaded. You can see one class is added now. See, one security class is added now. Yes, browse, choose file. Now you can load this metadata file perfectly. Then load. See, this time it will be loaded. There will not be any error message. See, my data load successfully completed. Now see, right? Done. Now everybody understood 4 steps, yes or no? First step is tick use security for entities in application settings. Second step, define security classes in entity dimension. Third step, load security file with these security classes. Fourth step, reload metadata. All four steps everybody understood. Fifth step we will go, right? Four steps understood, yes or no? Please acknowledge. Right. So fifth step. So write down fifth step, steps of fifth step. Within brackets, write down. You cannot practice this. Why you cannot practice? Only super admin can do. Write down. You cannot practice this. Only super admin can do. So yes, go to write down. Click on navigate, administer, shared services console. Click on navigate, administer, shared services console. Expand application groups. Click on navigate, administer, shared services console. Expand application group. Expand default application group. Right click on application and click on assign access control. See this one. You don't have right to do this one. So right click on application and click on assign access control. Now you see PM1, PM2, right? So yes. So for PM1 I put Asia and PM2 I put US all. See? So here all the security classes you see AS, EU, MG, TG, TGY, US, right? So yes, for PM1 can see only Asia data and PM2 can see only US data. Right click and put all. None means he cannot do anything. Metadata means he can load metadata. Read means he will have only read access. And promote means he can promote to next level. You will understand this in that security and process management chapter. Okay. So remember PM1 Asia, PM2 US. That's it. Save it. Right. So write down. Right click. Right click on the security class and then select all. Select all and then save. That's it. Your security is applicable now. Now how do you see that one? So first one, right? Come here. Here I'll create a grid here. Documents. I'll create two grids here. Security class US, security class ES. Say right. Open this security US. See, admin can see all the data. Right. So select any. I'm selecting 2015 January. Okay. Right. So 2015 January. Done. Right. So open another security grid also. This is Asia grid. So here you can see security class I have given US and Asia. So 2015 January, admin can see all the data. Now when you log in with PM1 and PM2, you will understand the difference. Copy this and put it here. Right, right. Hello pop-ups. Yes. Now see PM1. Password is password. You can also use this one. PASSWORD password. Right click on navigate application. Yes. Open this application. See 2015 January. What are the what is he seeing? For everything, even though he has been given US access and I mean Asia access, he is seeing no access, right? Yes, again we log in with right PM2 navigate application. Yes, now see security US. Open this and see See, for US also he is seeing no access. This is because of, you have to select January, right? Yes, January. This is because of process management. So in process management, security and process management, you will understand this. Now here, to see, I'll go to process management, expand data, double click on process control. You need not practice this today, okay? Because once the process management chapter is completed, you will understand. January, I'll select the total geography, hierarchy. Right now I'll start the process. Right click, manage process, start. Until and unless we start the process, nobody can see the data, nobody can enter the data. Now see, come here and refresh. See, he can enter the data, right? For US, can he enter the data for Asia and Europe? No, it is not possible because he is PM2. Now come here and refresh. He can enter data for Asia as well as US also. For PM1, I guess we have given access to both. Come here, go to shared services. Yes, both AS and US, right? That is the reason he is able to see both the data. PM1, PM2. PM1 can see data for Asia as well as US. PM2 can see data only for US. Correct? Now you understood all the security five steps, right? Yes or no? అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? So there is a small
What is
link.
that all?
Yeah.
All is there any option called read or write?
Yes, you, if you give read only option, right? Yes, we'll give in front of you, right? For PM1, right click and read access. Save. Done. Now here, when I refresh, what happens? You have to log off and log in again. Okay. Only thing, whenever you change the security, you have to log off and log in again. PM, is it PM2, right? Or PM1? PM1. Password is PASSWORD. Yes. Navigate, administer, sorry, consolidation, application. See, it is read only.
Okay,
You
right.
cannot enter the data, just you can see the data. Clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So all five steps everybody understood, right? Write down, put 5 star marks and write last step. Put 5 star marks and write security and process management. Security and process management is not applicable to, security and process management is not applicable to administrator. So when you logged in with admin, right? See, I logged in with admin. And when you logged in with your ID also, everything you will see. Everything you will see. There is no restriction because you are all administrators. Right? That is the reason. Write down. Security and process management is not applicable to administrators. So you have to practice this chapter with PM1 and PM2 users. PM1 means process management 1, process management 2. Okay. So you have to practice this security with PM1 and PM2 users. Everybody understood, right? Please acknowledge these 5 steps of security class. 5 steps. Yes or no? Please confirm. అందరికి చెప్పండి అమ్మా. Yes or no? Right. Next attribute. UD1, UD2, UD3. User defined 1, comma 2, comma 3. UD1, UD2, UD3. Write down. It is used for grouping of members. It is used for grouping of members. It is a VB variable. Second point. First point, it is used for grouping of members. Second point, it is VB variable. It is VB variable. We can call it in either, it is VB variable. We can call it in either member list or rule file. We can call it in either member list or rule file. Syntax. Syntax. Syntax hs dot entity dot ud1 is equal to xxx. hs dot entity, not account, okay? hs dot entity dot ud1 is equal to xxx. That's it. Now, okay, shall we start explanation? Now, what is this ud1, ud2, ud3? For example, you have to work with, you have total 500 entities, random entities. You have to work with random 25 entities. How do you remember those 25 entities? That is my question. Please guess and answer. Ajay garu, try. You are playing with regularly, you are using 25 entities out of 500 entities, whether it is in smart view, excel, or grid, or data form, etc., etc. You have to remember all those 25 entities. How do you remember?
Separate number list to take up 25.
I want a shortcut for that one. Ajay garu, or anyone try. New people, what do you do? Anyone can try. Sorry?
We can use filter for 25.
No, means you cannot filter, means it will show only one, right? One. You cannot remember those.
So we can do grouping like
Yes.
all 25.
So I'll create a group called Ajay, and then I'll put all those 25 entities in Ajay group. Now, whenever I call Ajay, automatically those 25 entities will come, right? Same thing we are doing it here. So we have to write a small program for this one. So, right? So 1 minute, go to list view, see user defined one. So Japan, Singapore, UK, CT. These four entities I put it as XXX1. Now I have to load a member list file. Now come here. Whenever you go to, right, I'm closing this, I'm closing this, I'm closing this, I'm creating a new grade. Here in the entity dimension, I'll select entity dimension. I click on filter, see, Sairam, right? So in the member list file, right, I'll create a member list like this. Is there any member list? Not here. Desktop, downloads. So yeah, okay, we'll do one thing. We'll extract the member list and we'll see. Come here. So extract tasks. So in the member list, I'll use a syntax called if hs.ud1 is equal to member list extract. Yes, download. So I'll put it here in my desktop. Now see, here I have used a syntax hs dot entity dot ud1 is equal to xxx. Then add the list to the group. That's it. Automatically, whenever you use that name Sairam, automatically you will see all the entities. Same thing, right? Here you are seeing in the grid, right? Yes. When you click on here and when you click on this filter button, Sairam. See this one. Clear? That is called ud1, ud2, ud3. This ud1, ud2, ud3, you will see this in all dimensions. When you go to account dimension, yes, account dimension also you will see ud1, ud2, ud3. Now, can anybody tell how do I call the account ud1? hs dot account dot ud1. If it is custom one, hs dot custom one dot ud1, hs dot custom two dot ud1, hs dot scenario dot ud1. Likewise, in every dimension you will see this three ud1, ud2, ud3. Okay, they are used for grouping of members. అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? ud1 means yes or no? Please confirm. Please acknowledge.
Can you repeat again?
So just we discussed it, right? You want to remember 25 entities? Yes, you will create a group called Dharmender, and then you will put that in that group. Yes, whenever you call that Dharmender, see here I am calling Sairam, right? Here I put a group called Sairam. and I'm calling this group. So when you click on this filter, all these are wherever you see a square brackets, they are all system defined members, right? You all know how to use this one. Yes, you can create your own member list also. Likewise, see Rajni, Vasant, Sairam. Yes, when you click on this, see, whatever the user defined one, I put it as XXX. CT, Japan, Singapore, UK. You are seeing the same here, right? That is called grouping of
So
members. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I noticed that from UD1, everything from there to the right side, everything used for the grouping only, right?
Yes,
From the
only grouping.
UD1
Yes,
to
yes. They are used for grouping. Yes, you can create a number of groups.
because I saw all the right side columns after UD1, UD2, UD3 hierarchy, everything being used for grouping of the members.
Correct. These three are used for grouping of members.
And right side also, if you go scroll down, scroll to the right side,
This
in
one
any
different. I'll explain you what is holding company, and only these three will be used for grouping of members. Okay.
oh,
Right. So understood, right, everyone? So how do I call UD2? HS dot entity dot UD2. That's it. HS dot entity dot UD3. How do I call account? HS dot account dot UD1. HS dot account dot UD2, etc. Clear? Right. Next, holding company. Write down holding company. First point. It is optional field. Holding company. It is optional field. Second point. We never use in live. Sorry. Don't put as never use. We use it in consolidation methods. We use it in consolidation methods. We use it in consolidation methods to call the holding company. To call the holding company. So normally, what do you mean by holding company? What do you mean by subsidiary company? Anybody from commerce background? What is meant by, okay, Tata group of companies? What is TCS to Tata group of companies?
subsidiary of Tata Group.
Subsidiary. So yes, now clearly observe and tell me. This is Tata GRP group. This is TCS. This is Titan. This is Tisco. Right? So I enter some data here. 100, 100, 100, 100. So what will be the value for Tata group? Consolidated value for Tata group.
400.
So everybody understood this diagram? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, and that's
Right? This is the normal consolidation statement, right? Now I have a question for all of you. So can I enter data in parent entity in HFM? Yes or no?
no, yes, not possible.
Not
Yes,
possible. So Tata Group has its own data. See here, you can see TCS, Titan, Tisco, and Tata Sky is rolling up to Tata Group parent. But Tata Group will have its own data also, right? Where do you enter the data? That is my question.
roll up from subsidiaries only. The companies that will
No,
be
it
on
has its
separate
own
entity
data
they
also,
can
right?
create.
Along with rolled up data, it has its own data also. Where do you enter that data? That is my question. So,
The
in
standalone statement they have to prepare separately, right? The Tata Group.
that it has to roll up, right? Then it should be 500. For example, Tata Group. So here I'll put another diagram. This is done. Is this
Yes,
correct or right, or
yes,
correct or wrong? This is correct. So because in HFM you cannot enter data in parent entity. That is the reason we always create. Here I use the word dummy, right? But in HFM we use a word called virtual entity. Entama? Right? What is the word I used?
Virtual entity.
Yeah, virtual entities. Remember this, right? So write down, put three star marks and write. We always create, we always create virtual entities for smooth rolling up. We always create virtual entities for smooth rolling up. Now, the same diagram, I'll put it in another way. Now, you tell me whether it is correct or wrong. So, yes, yes. Now, tell me whether it is correct or wrong. This
Correct.
diagram is
This one
correct
is
or
correct.
not.
This one is correct.
Anybody who says wrong? Anyone from the team who says wrong? Right only, right? Yes, this is
Yes, yes.
perfectly right. So, just by seeing the diagram, normally people think who what is the parent company here? Which is the parent company here?
Tata Group.
Original, this is the parent company actually in live. But this one is a dummy virtual entity, correct? Yes or no? So, yes, in holding company, right here, I'll put it as ORG, right? So that people will recognize this and you can call this in the consolidation methods. Everyone clear? Since it is an optional field, in the in whatever project you go, this will be blank only. People will not put here actually. But you want to see this, right? You can see it in sample applications. Okay. Either so you all installed HFM client, right? Yes or no? When you
Yes.
install HFM client, a sample applications will be created. See, go to C drive, Oracle, middleware, EPM system one, products, financial management, sample applications, and starter kits. So you can see all the sample applications here. So once you are familiar with Baba application, you can create a comma application with four dimensions. First simple demo application, and then comma application, and then statutory application, and then IFRS. This IFRS application is very very tough. Okay, when you go to this one here, they will give you all the steps. They will give you the profile file, security file, metadata file, member list file, rules, everything you can load. Right? Yes, you can play with these applications. So when you go to sample applications, when you go to comma, see, when you open this metadata, right? Come here. So click on open file. No. So ekadundamma adi? So come here. Yes, copy this and paste it here. Enter. Open this. Now see, go to entity dimension. So expand everything. Now see, this is the metadata. So in this one, when I click on East region, anything here? No, right? So yes. So Europe. See here for joint venture, even though here it is holding company, right? Here they mentioned holding company means by seeing the tree, you should not think that joint venture is the parent company. Actual parent company in live is which company it is? Holding company. Understood? Yes or no? అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? It's an optional field, nobody will put actually, but by seeing this diagram, so by seeing the tree you should never think that you uh, whatever the parent company, right? So just by seeing the tree you cannot judge which is parent company. So everybody understood the concept of virtual parents? Yes or no? Please confirm. Right, yes. So new file, go back to our original file, right? Come here. Right, next. Security as partner. Write down. Security as partner. Okay. Before discussing this, I have a question for all of you. Where is ICP dimension in this metadata? When you click on this drop down box, ICP. Do we do anything here in ICP? Yes or no?
No.
No. Why? Because ICP dimension is partly controlled by system and partly controlled by HFM. So whenever in the entity dimension, whenever you tick as is ICP, automatically all those ICP dimensions will be created as ICP members in ICP dimension. See? So close this one. When you go to ICP none, what are the entities created under ICP dimension? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these are right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, because we ticked those as ICP is ICP. That is perfectly fine because yes, ICP dimension is partly controlled by system. What do you mean by partly controlled by system? So ICP top, ICP none, ICP entity. See, they are square brackets. It means system defined members. Whenever you create a new application, automatically these three will come. So partly controlled by system. What is partly controlled by metadata? So whenever you tick each ICP in entity dimension in metadata, remaining these will come. CT India. So that is the reason ICP dimension is partly controlled by system and partly controlled by metadata. That is perfectly fine. Now I want to give security to ICP dimension. Where do I give? Same five steps. Write down. చెప్పండమ్మా ఎవరైనా first application settings, go to application settings, yes, scroll right, and here instead of security for entities, I untick this one. I want to give security for ICP. Use security for ICP. First step. Now second step, where do I define the security classes? There is no ICP dimension separately. If there is ICP dimension, yes, there you can give the security class, but there is no ICP dimension. Where do you give the security for ICP now?
New to entity.
Yes,
Entity.
in the entity dimension. Yes, and then here I cannot give. This security class is applicable to entity dimension. So here they have given security as partner. Write down security as partner. It is security for ICP. It is security for ICP. Second step. I mean second point. Same five steps. అందరికి ఫైవ్ స్టెప్స్ అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా? ఎవరిబడి అండర్స్టూడ్ ఫైవ్ స్టెప్స్ రైట్? ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ ఈజ్ యూజ్ సెక్యూరిటీ ఫర్ ఎంటిటీ డైమెన్షన్ ఆర్ నౌ ఇన్ దిస్ కేస్ ఐ పుట్ యూజ్ సెక్యూరిటీ ఫర్ ఐసిపి డైమెన్షన్ ఇన్ అప్లికేషన్ సెట్టింగ్స్. సెకండ్, go to entity dimension and give the security classes under security as partner. Third step, load security file. Fourth step, reload metadata. Fifth step, assign these security classes to users in shared services. That's it, right? Write down same five steps. Third point, put three star marks and write. The only criteria is, the only criteria is, see, I cannot give security classes to each and every member. Whatever the members I ticked is ICP, right? Only for these I can give the security classes. Clear? Up to here only I can give the security classes. Write down. The only criteria is ICP should be ticked. The only criteria is ICP should be ticked. అంతే కదమ్మా? ఇఫ్ ఈజీఐసిపి ఈజ్ నాట్ టిక్డ్ దెన్ వాట్ డస్ దట్ మీన్? ఇక్కడ హాంకాంగ్ అనేది ఏ ఎంటిటీ అమ్మా? ఐసిపి ఎంటిటీయా కాదా? సి హియర్ యు ఆర్ సీయింగ్ హాంకాంగ్ రైట్? ఈజ్ దిస్ అన్ ఐసిపి ఎంటిటీ ఆర్ నార్మల్ ఎంటిటీ?
Normal entity. Normal entity.
వై? Because I did not tick ICP entity. Is ICP, I did not tick is ICP. That is the reason this security class should be given to only those entities where is ICP is ticked. Last point అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో ప్లీజ్ కన్ఫర్మ్. The only criteria is ICP should be ticked. That's it. Right. Next point. Default parent. Next attribute. Default parent. as per tree. First point, as per tree, default parent as per tree. Second point, for ultimate parent, hash root. First point, as per tree. Second point, for ultimate parent, hash root. Now see, everyone see. So what is the parent for Stanford? Chepalama, what is the parent for Stanford?
Yes.
What is the
US
parent for US?
geography.
Total geography. What is the parent for total geography?
Entity.
No, hash root.
Oh.
So these
Okay,
two
hash.
are ultimate parents. Okay, understood? So as per tree, whatever the default parent you see, that is the parent for that particular entity. But for ultimate parent, you put a hash root. It means there is no parent above that. This entity is heading only. Okay, dimension heading. This is called entity dimension. Any doubts in entity dimension?
Sir, here total geography is a virtual entity, right, sir?
Yes, ultimate parent will always be virtual entity. Clear? And what are the virtual entities here? Can anybody tell? Asia, is it original entity or virtual entity? Virtual. Europe is a virtual
Sure.
entity. US is a virtual entity. Clear? So in live, before HFM, if you have 200 entities, and when you move to HFM, how many entities it will be there? 100% it will be more than 200. Okay, 205 or 210 or 220 is as per your reporting convenience. We create all virtual entities. Clear? When you are dealing with geographical entity, geographical reporting, you see many virtual entities. అర్థమైందా అందరికి? Everybody understood, right? Yes or no? Please confirm.
Yes.
Yes, this is called entity
సార్
dimension.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా ఏమైనా యాడ్ చేయాలంటే ఎలా చేయాలి సార్ ఇందులో?
Yes, I'll tell you. Okay, we'll build metadata from scratch. Okay,
ఓకే.
in last class, right? We'll build metadata. Don't worry. So when you see this member list, nothing but whatever the member list you created here, right? All will be in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, etc. Okay, right. Next, put heading account dimension. Very very important. Account dimension. Yes, member description account type. Now everybody, asset, liability, revenue, expense. Anybody has any doubt in these four items? Asset ante entama, what do you mean by asset? Yes, you can tell in mother language, mother tongue also, I don't mind. What do you mean by asset?
It is fixed expense.
No, it's not expense.
It's a capital. Capital. It is fixed, sir.
Okay,
Fixed asset.
I'll tell you in Telugu. Astuలు, yes or no?
Articles, yes, sir.
Liabilities.
Something which give you the revenue in a long term. That's
Correct. Liabilities means
apples, apples.
అప్పులు. Yes. Revenue means
ఆదాయం,
in,
లాభం,
income or ఆదాయం.
ఆదాయం,
Expense means
ఖర్చు.
yes. So yes, up to this you have to know. All BTech students, trust me, right? You don't need to judge whether a particular account is asset or liability, because in the gamma, why don't we judge? We take it from SAP. Whatever they put, whether they put asset or liability or revenue expense, we copy the same in HFM. No need to worry. Asset, liability, revenue, expense. Everybody knows this one. Yes. Then what is flow and what is balance? This you have to understand. So currency rate, you have to understand. Group label, you need not understand. For all headings, we put group label. Balance, recurring, and dynamic. So these are the items you have to understand. Write down flow. Account type, flow. Account type for flow. Write down. First point, all income statement items. All income statement items which will not be translated. All income statement items which will not be translated and which will be accumulated for YTD. I'll explain you. First, write down the notes. All income statement items which will not be translated, and which will be accumulated for YTD. Next, account type balance. Next point, next line, heading, account type balance. All balance sheet items, account type balance. All balance sheet items which will not be translated, which will not be translated, and which will not be accumulated for YTD. All balance sheet items which will not be translated and which will not be accumulated for YTD. Right? Everybody has written the notes, right? Yes or no? Shall we start discussing? చెప్పండమ్మా, డిస్కస్ చేద్దామా?
Sir, last one triple G answer.
All
Account
balance
type
sheet
balance.
items, account type balance. All balance sheet items which will not be translated and which will not be accumulated for YTD, and which will not be accumulated for YTD. Right. Done. So first of all, I want you to explain the difference between income statement and balance sheet. Anybody from commerce background? Income statement ki balance sheet ki difference enti? What is the difference between income statement and balance sheet?
Income statement. Sir, income statement is also called as profit and loss account. Balance sheet as and balance sheet we can
1 minute, sir.
know the.
I am not asking
Yes.
about the alternate name of income statement, P&L account. What is income statement? What items you put in means why do see expense? You purchased a land, right? But you are keeping it in asset. But you purchased a goods, you are keeping it in income statement. Why? Both are expense only, right? Somebody told balance sheet is
Yes,
as on
sir.
date.
It will be miscellaneous expense. Sir, direct expenses or indirect expenses we record in profit
No,
and loss.
wrong. No. Anybody from core commerce background?
Sir, recurring expense is an income statement. Non-recurring expense is asset balance sheet type.
No. Every month I'll purchase one land recurringly.
Sir, balance sheet will land is capital expenditure. Raw material is to run the business. It is the revenue expenses.
Then I put both are expenses only, right? Even land I put it in here.
No. If you buy the land, asset will come. It is a capital expenditure.
Then
It
what
is
is
not reported.
why do we put in asset only? That's what I am asking. Sir, somebody
To
is
run the
telling.
business, we are buying the business. Right? Provide a long-term benefits to the company. We are not selling it to earn to get the profit, but it helps company to earn in long term. It will not get consumed within a year.
Yes, this is
That's
correct
the
answer, but I want even more correct answer.
to
So
run the revenue to generate the revenue. Revenue purpose.
okay, I'll explain you. Income statement, all the values in the income statement will be for current year only. Clear? You won't find last year balances in income statement, current year income statement, but balance sheet will carry the balances from the date of inception of the company, means from the date of creation of the company. అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ బ్యాలెన్స్ షీట్ అండ్ ఇన్కమ్ స్టేట్మెంట్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఇన్కమ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ will hold only current year balances, whatever you say. So that is the reason income statement for the period, but balance sheet as on date. ఎవరో స్టార్టింగ్ లో ఆన్సర్ చెప్పారు కరెక్ట్ గా, right? Somebody told, right, as on date. That is the meaning of balance sheet. Balance sheet means the values which are in the balance sheet are from the starting of the company. అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ ఇన్కమ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అండ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ షీట్, పర్టికులర్లీ బీటెక్ పీపుల్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో?
Yes, sir.
Now what is the difference between YTD and MTD? Means monthly YTD and MTD. Okay, I'll put a diagram here. Yours January, Feb, February, March. So yes, I'll put it as sales. So January I have 100 rupees sales, February I have 100 rupees sales, March I have 100 rupees sales. Now March YTD, how much sales I have? Only
300.
please BTech people, please try to answer. All BTech people, right? Oh, once again, I want to confirm who are BTech people here. ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారమ్మా? ప్లీజ్ ప్లీజ్ సే ఎస్ ఎస్ ఎస్.
Myself, sir. Yes, sir.
సాగర్ ఎస్. ఇంకా ఇంకా ఎనీవన్ ఫ్రమ్ అదర్ దాన్ కామర్స్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్?
Yeah, me also, sir. Ravi Kumar.
Ravi, Sagar, yes, I can say three or four people. Right now, you try to answer this. So, what is
So it is
March YTD?
300. It is 300. It is a financial year total.
Perfect, 300. Now, land. In January, I have 100 rupees land. In February, I have 100 rupees land. In March, I have 100 rupees land. Total, how much land I have? Chepalama, Ravi.
Sir, it is a capital, so 100.
It is 100 only, right? So, this is the difference between income statement and balance sheet. Okay, this is income statement and this is balance sheet. So, balance sheet values will not accumulated for YTD. Will not be accumulated for YTD. Yes or no? Yes or no? అందరికి అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా?
Sir. Yes.
Yes. This diagram everybody understood, right? Please ask if you don't understand once again. Anybody? Once again, I am requesting all of you to keep asking doubts. అడుగుతా ఉండండమ్మా. Right? I don't mind. I'll stop and I'll make you explain understand. ఈ diagram everybody understood, right? If you understand this, then I will go for next one. So this is in INR. Are we good? Now I want to translate this to USD. Same thing. Copy this, paste it here. Uh-huh. Copy this and paste it here. So in January, my dollar rate is 2. In February, my dollar rate is 3. In March, my dollar rate is 4. Now, what is the value here? అంతే కదమ్మా? Is this correct or wrong?
Wrong. Wrong, sir. For land, it is wrong.
Why wrong? It is correct. Why?
Oh,
Why
sir,
wrong?
the price remains same. It is 2 rupees less. For income statement? For income, it is okay, but land, okay, it may raise, but uh,
See, simply I am translating from INR to USD. Right? It is correct. Land value is also correct. Right? So March YTD it will show only 400. Right? So yes, it will be translated. So since it is income statement sales, yes, it will be translated to USD, and it is land, it will be translated to USD. There is no problem here. This is 100% correct. Right? అందరికి అర్థమైందా? Yes or no? Until here everybody understood? Yes or no? Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Right? Now, so there is no confusion with the asset, liability, revenue, and expense. There is no problem at all. Whatever the value, whether it is USD, whether it is INR, whether it is GBP, whether it is Euro, it will be translated as per the values. Now the same thing, right? The same thing. Little bit I'll change the items. So here I'll put it as selling units. So in January, I sold 100 units. In February, I sold 100 units. In March, I sold 100 units. What will be my YTD balance? Total how
300.
many units I told? I sold
3 months, 300.
300. Perfect. Now this is not land. This is number of employees. In January, I have 100 employees in my company. In February, I have 100 employees in my company. In March, I have 100 employees in company. Total how many employees I have?
100. 100.
Perfect, right? Now the same thing I want to show it in USD. In USD, how many units I sold? In INR, I sold 100 units. In USD, how many units I sold?
100.
Huh?
100 only.
Once again,
Units
think
100.
and
100
answer.
only. Units 100.
So, number of employees in INR, I have 100 employees. In USD, how many employees I have?
Same. Same, sir.
So, you understood, right? For flow. So, for selling units, I'll put it as flow. For number of employees, I put it as balance. ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైందమ్మా? ఎసెట్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి? ఫర్ సేల్స్ ఏం పెడతానమ్మా నేను? వాట్ ఈస్ మై సేల్స్? రెవెన్యూ. Land, asset, right? For selling units, I have to put it as flow. If I put revenue, then it will be translated to its other currency, what a reporting currency. So it should not be translated. Now whatever the explanation I have given you, means notes I have given, flow, all income statement items which will not be translated and which will be accumulated for YTD. See, selling units, it should accumulate to YTD. Balance items means all balance sheet items which will not be translated and which will not be accumulated for YTD. అర్థమైందమ్మా? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? అందరికి ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఫ్లో ఎప్పుడు పెట్టాలి, బ్యాలెన్స్ ఎప్పుడు పెట్టాలి, అర్థమైంది కదా? ప్లీజ్ కన్ఫర్మ్.
The flow will use the accumulated basis. Balance will use not accumulated basis.
Correct, yes. So what are these items called? Statistical items. అర్థమైందా? Means when you build them at data, you will get all the data from SAP, like sales, building, but you won't get these items from SAP. This one you have to manually, I mean this one you have to put it as either flow or balance. అందరికి అర్థమైంది కదా? So whatever the items which should not be translated to other currencies, those items first you will decide whether they are flow or balance. Clear? Whether they are flow or balance. If it is a flow, then example for flow is selling units. Now can anybody tell me the example of balance, any other example of balance other than number of employees?
Number of machines,
Number of shares, right? You have 100 shares in January, 100 shares in February, 100 shares in March. Total how many shares you have? 100 only. It will not be accumulated. So everybody understood what is the difference between flow and balance? అర్థమైందమ్మా అందరికి? Yes or no? Please.
flow is variable, balance is fixed, I think.
Sorry,
Flow is variable. I think it will change in the
you
month
should
wise.
not say use the word variable. Okay, you have to use the word accumulate and not accumulate for YTD.
Yes. Yes.
సో సంబడి ఈజ్ ఆస్కింగ్ డౌట్, ఎవరో అడిగారమ్మా, ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ అడగండి డౌట్ ప్లీజ్. సో వాసుకి అండ్ న్యూ రవి జవేరియా, రైట్? ప్లీజ్ acknowledge whether you understood or not. I'll repeat otherwise.
Yeah.
One by one please. Yeah.
Can you repeat this point again? Flow and balance.
Flow and balance, right? So see, if it is asset or liability, we don't face any issues because we don't even judge also, because all those will come from SAP. Land means they will put asset, and same thing we'll put it here. But some of the items, right, we have to put in HFM only. It won't come from SAP. If it is a selling units, they simply say, tell selling units. Here for every item you have to put the account type. See, when you go to the account type, this is a drop down box. See here, if it is user defined one, right, you put XYZ or whatever you want, you can put whatever you can, you put, even if it is wrong also you can type it. But in as a account type, this is a drop down box. You have to select for each and every item, you have to select one of these items. So yes, you all know asset, liability, revenue, expense will come from SAP. So simply you will drop down box, you will select asset, liability, revenue or expense. Done. For example, see, AC underscore rates. This is heading. So I put it as group label. Yes, for all headings we put group label. There is no problem at all. So for all exchange rates, see exchange rates. So opening end of the month rate, you know that this is a exchange rate, average rate, historical rate. For all exchange rates, you put currency rate. There is no problem for currency rate also. So the for all ratio analysis, we put dynamic. So the only problem you face in this account type is flow and balance. You have to understand where you have to put flow and where you have to put balance. For that reason, I explained you. So whatever the items which should not be translated, right? First you have to decide whether it is flow or balance. So you have to just same diagram you understand this. So selling units, yes, it should be accumulated to YTD. Means in January I sold number of units I sold is 100. In February 300, right? And in March 200. Total how much it is? 600. Now it is accumulating, so it is flow. If it is not to be accumulated, then balance. ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైందండి అందరికీ? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ప్లీజ్ కన్ఫర్మ్ అగైన్, వన్స్ అగైన్.
Yes, sir.
రైట్, నెక్స్ట్ రైట్ డౌన్. Currency rate, all exchange rates. Currency rate, all exchange rates. Next, group label, all headings. Currency rate, all exchange rates. Group label, all headings. Now when I say all headings, what do you mean by all headings? What is the importance of this account type? Chepandamma. What is the importance of this account types? First of all,
To know which type of account we are doing.
okay, you know what is the consequence of that one? If I put asset, it will add.
Every asset valuation.
Every account type has a behavior. All assets plus or minus చెప్పండమ్మా, assets plus or minus?
Plus.
Plus. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
All liabilities plus or minus?
Minus, sir.
Minus. All expenses plus or minus?
Minus. Minus, sir.
Expenses are plus, remember, okay? Incomes are minus, okay? Right. Yes, every account type will have a behavior. Now all group label plus or minus? చెప్పాలమ్మా, group label plus or minus?
That will depend on account type.
No, it won't have any behavior, neither plus nor minus. Currency rate plus or minus? No, it won't have any behavior. Clear? So in admin guide you can see this one. So when you click on manage metadata, right? So where is management? ఎలా ఎతకాలమ్మా చెప్పండి? So I opened the admin guide. I'm in contents now. Now how do you search for this one account type behavior? చెప్పాలమ్మా.
Go to manage metadata.
Where it is? You can quantify the number.
4.
Expand 4 and then
And drill down, you can choose account dimension.
click on defining accounts. Now scroll down. Here you will see account type. See, you can see flow means store periodic y today. So this point, right, you don't understand. That is the reason I have given the explanation. Now here you are seeing account type behavior, right? Now click. Now see, it will clearly show. Asset means addition, minus asset means subtraction. So for balance, yes, see, for group label, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable means it won't have any behavior. Currency rate, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. Dynamic, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. Applicable means for but these three items, neither it is addition nor it is subtraction. It won't have any behavior. అందరికి అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా? ఎస్ఆర్ నో? బిహేవియర్ అంటే ఏంటి అర్థమైంది కదా? అకౌంట్ టైప్ బిహేవియర్, రైట్? సో డైనమిక్, write down dynamic. For all ratio analysis we put dynamic. Write down, for all ratio analysis we put dynamic.
Group table.
అంటే ఆల్ హెడ్డింగ్స్ అమ్మా. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, నేను ఇక్కడ ఎం హైరార్కీ అని పెట్టా. వాట్ ఈజ్ ఎం హైరార్కీ? ఈజ్ ఇట్ ఎసెట్? ఈజ్ ఇట్ లైబిలిటీ? ఈజ్ ఇట్ రెవెన్యూ? ఈజ్ ఇట్ ఎక్స్పెన్స్? ఏంటిదమ్మా అది చెప్పండి?
Group heading.
ఇట్స్ ఓన్లీ హెడ్డింగ్. యూ కెన్ పుట్ యువర్ నేమ్, అజయ్. అజయ్ హైరార్కీ, Ashok hierarchy. Yes, in metadata you can create anything, right? Under Ajay hierarchy he will create his own hierarchy. Likewise, M hierarchy is something, metadata hierarchy. Please don't touch this. P hierarchy is practice hierarchy. Yes, you can create anything under P hierarchy. You can create your own hierarchy, you can delete, you can remove members, you can add members, etc., etc. But please don't touch original hierarchies. Once again, I'm saying, I always request all of you, total balance sheet, income statement, M hierarchy, don't touch this. Under P hierarchy is specifically for you. You can create your own hierarchy, add delete, etc., etc., change properties, etc. అందరికి అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా? గ్రూప్ లేబుల్ అంటే ఎస్ ఆర్ నో, ప్లీజ్ కన్ఫర్మ్.
Yes, sir.
Right, so dynamic, all ratio analysis. Next point, refer dynamic rules in rules chapter. I'll clearly explain you what is dynamic in rules chapter. Okay, as of now, just remember that dynamic is used for ratio analysis. How to create a ratio? Here, see, we have to write a rule file for that one. So in desktop, this is right, dynamic rule. See, this is the rule. Earnings per share is equal to net income divided by number of shares. Likewise, debt equity ratio, debt by equity, all ratio analysis, right? We put a dynamic. So this is called account type. Everybody clear? Right down. Next is calculated. So see here, I explain you balance recurring also. Write down balance recurring also. See, first point, we never use in live. Write down. First point, we never use in live, not even one time. Second point, balance recurring. First point, we never use in live. Second point, second point, the value is of recurring nature. The value is of recurring nature. Third point, example, example, rent, comma, rent, comma, tax rate, rent, comma, tax rate. So I'll create a, I'll create a grid for this one. Okay, so I'm closing everything. Somebody has logged in. Who is that? Yes. So yes, under metadata grids, you can see all the metadata grids. Okay. Now under metadata grids, I create a new grid, data grid. So see, under metadata M hierarchy, you see balance recurring, account type, right? Account type, selling units, number of shares, balance recurring, dynamic EPS, balance recurring underscore rent. Okay, so yes, I create this member. So M hierarchy, account type, balance recurring, rent, done. Income from sales and balance recurring, right, done. So here I'll put my entire generation, third generation, in January to February, done. So I'll drag this entity dimension, I'll select India, remove this, sorry, right, yes, okay. I have to reorder the dimensions so that entity should be first. Yes, done. Now we are good, right? See, I'll show you. I'm saving it as in metadata grids. You can refer all these metadata grids. Okay, what is the item? BALA, sorry, BALANC, balance, RECURRING, recurring. So here ACCTYPE, account type underscore balance recurring. Okay, save. Now see, so for income from sales, if I put 100, what happens when I submit that? What happens? See, in February, March, April, May, June, July, it is 0, right? Now when I enter balance recurring as rent for 100, you need not enter in February. Every month it will be same, right? So unless you change it in June, I'll change it to 150. Now what happens from June onwards? It will show 150. అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? బ్యాలెన్స్ రికరింగ్ లైవ్ లో we never use this because every month we load the data for each and every item. whatever the SAP people extract, right? We load it. So all these items, rent, etc., will come every month. But if you don't want to enter a particular value every month, then you can put it as balance recurring. అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా బ్యాలెన్స్ రికరింగ్ అంటే ఏంటో? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? ఈవెన్ దో వీ నెవర్ యూజ్ ఇన్ లైవ్, దిస్ ఈస్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్ ఆఫ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ రికరింగ్. లైవ్లో ఒక్కసారి కూడా వాడమమ్మా. ఆర్ వి క్లియర్ అబౌట్ బ్యాలెన్స్ రికరింగ్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో?
Yes, understood.
Right, next point. Is calculated, write down, is calculated, is calculated. So write down, if it is ticked, you cannot enter data. If it is ticked, you cannot enter data even though it is base member. If it is ticked, you cannot enter data even though it is base member. If it is ticked, you cannot enter data even though it is base member. Second point, it will be in green color. Green color means you cannot enter data, right? Third point, example, business case. What is the business case for this one? All opening balances, all opening balances, comma, CTA, etc. etc. Put etc. రాసుకున్నారు అందరూ? Everybody has written the notes, right? Shall I explain? Now the question. So opening balance is a base member, right? So example, Ravi. I asked Ravi every month, right? I asked Ravi not to enter any data in opening balances. Why? Because my opening balances should come from last year closing balances. Yes or no? అంతే కదమ్మా?
Yes,
So,
yes,
but Ravi is every time Ravi is doing the same mistake again and again. He is entering the data in opening balances. What should we do? Simply, I'll tick this is calculated. Then it will be in green color. He cannot enter data. Now, how do we get the data in that opening balances? In the rule file, I'll write a rule. Last year closing balance is equal to current year opening balance is equal to last year closing balance. That's it. Automatically, whatever the last year closing balance is, right, it will be moved to current year opening balances automatically. So for all opening balances, I always tick is calculated. Okay, now what happens? I'll create a grid for you and then you will see, right? So right, my data grades is calculated is there, calc attribute is calculated, right? Yes, create a grade, data grade. So just give me 1 second, we'll use the same grid. So is balance recurring, refresh, balance recurring వచ్చిందమ్మా, account type balance recurring, yes, edit. So this one I'll put it as income from sales. So M hierarchy is account type, not account type, is calculated. చూడమ్మా, is consolidated, is calculated ఎక్కడ ఉందా? Yeah, is calculated underscore opening balance, right? Yes. Now, yes. So save as, I put it as echo ACC underscore IS is CALCULATED. Account is calculated. Okay. Save. Now see, can I enter data in is calculated? That is a base member. You can see this is a base member is calculated. I did not, there is no parent, there is no child under is calculated. It is not a parent member. Even though it is a parent member, even though it is a base member, still you cannot enter the data. Now I can write a rule file in rules, right? I'll tell you how to write a rule. Okay, అందరికి అర్థమైందమ్మా? is calculated, yes or no?
yes,
అర్థమైందా?
I can support for rule.
Sorry.
The shell will support for only rules, sir.
Yes, that cell will support the data should come from only rule file. Write down last point is calculated example, right? The data in this, the data in this should come from rule file only. The data in this cell should come from rule file only. The data in this cell should come from rule file only. Next, put heading is consolidated. Is consolidated. Now, can anybody guess and tell what is consolidated? If you tick, what happens? If you don't tick, what happens? Slowly, one by one.
It will calculate.
Okay, so is consolidated, right? Here there is consolidated. So here there is consolidated, right? Now, for example, I'll so I have parent 1, 2, 3, console 3. This is account dimension. Okay, this is my hierarchy is consolidated. So I entered 100 here, 100 here, 100 here. So here is consolidated. I ticked, not ticked. So we'll put it as 200 and 300. Now, what is the value it will roll up to its parent is consolidated account? 300. Anybody? 300. Why 300? Okay,
As
1 minute. Just
last
we'll
one
put
is
one
not
thing.
changed,
1
it
minute.
will
We'll
not
put it as
consolidate.
400, and this one is 200. Now tell me, so that people will not be
600.
confused. Total, how much it will be consolidated to its parent?
600.
4 plus 2, whatever is ticked. You are saying, right? These two, I bolded. These two, right?
Yes, yes.
No, this is wrong answer. It will be consolidated as 900. Okay? Then why? What is the notes for that one?
That
Just give me 1 second. Is consolidated. I'll create one more member here. Is consolidated selling price is consolidated. Just give me 1 second. So let me create ISCONS 2. Done. So this is ticked, right? So everything is this is right. So what is my parent? ISCONSOLIDATED is consolidated. Again, ISCONS 3. This one also ticked. So IS is consolidated, right? Done. Is consolidated. Yes, I created 3 items. Now I am saving this as 12. Yes. Then I load this metadata. So load metadata. We'll create a grid and we'll see. Load application elements. Metadata choose file underscore 12. Replace load. Done. Let me create a grid for this one. So here I have to create a grid, a new grid, right? New grid. So account dimension, remove this. I have to put is consolidated and this 3. Done. Perfect. Now I have to take entity dimension here. I have to drag back this one. We don't need this one. So here I'll put US entities, right, and CT. Done. Now save as. under my data grades. So ACC underscore IS is CONSOLIDATED. Right? అందరూ గుర్తుపడతారు కదమ్మా, యూ కెన్ ప్రాక్టీస్ దిస్ వన్ నౌ. నౌ సి. సో ఐ ఎంటర్ 100 here. So same 200 here. I entered 400 here. I entered some 500 here. Submit data. How much it will roll up to its is consolidated parent? Chepalama. See,
1100.
total 1100 it will consolidate. So then is what is the importance of is consolidated? It is not ticket. It should not consolidate, right? So one thing you have to understand very very clearly. Two words here. Consolidate. What do you mean by the word meaning consolidation? English meaning of consolidation.
I just roll up from a higher cost. Sum up of combining all things into one.
Okay. Then what is
Adding
rolling
the
up? What
bucket
is the word meaning rolling up?
year to year or period to period.
So here the question is rolling up. I am asking you the difference between rolling up and consolidation. See, consolidation, the word consolidation is applicable to entity dimension only. Remaining all dimensions, we use the word rolling up. Are we clear? So even though this
Sorry, come
attribute,
again.
the word consolidation is used for entity dimension only. And the word rolling up we use it for all other dimensions like account, product, etc., etc., custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, etc. Clear? So here when I right click and consolidate here, see, consolidate all with data. Now you will see the consolidation, whatever you ticked as is consolidated, right? Only those will be consolidated. Now come here and see. ఎంత వెళ్ళిందా పైకి? 200 వెళ్ళిందా? Sir, please mute. Lot of background noise is coming. Right. Now you understood, right? So write down the notes now. Is consolidated if it is not ticked. First point, not first point. Even though this attribute is in account dimension, write down first point. Even though this attribute is in account dimension, even though this attribute is in account dimension, it is related to entity dimension. Even though this attribute is in account dimension, even though this attribute is an account dimension, it is related to entity dimension. Second point, if it is not ticked, second point, if it is not ticked, if it is not ticked, this value will not be consolidated to, this value will not be consolidated to parent entity. Underline that. This value will not be consolidated to, this value will not be consolidated to parent entity. Right? Third point. Third point. So you understood, right? Third point. Example, selling price. ఇక్కడ సెల్లింగ్ ప్రైస్ అని తీసుకుందాం, ఇంకేం తీసుకుందాం ఎగ్జాంపుల్. ఓకే, యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ టేక్ ఇట్. అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా? సో లాస్ట్ పాయింట్, పుట్ 5 star marks and write. Last point, put 5 star marks and write. You cannot stop, you cannot stop rolling up of, you cannot stop rolling up of child accounts to its parent account. You cannot stop rolling up of child accounts to its parent account. See, my parent account is consolidated, child account is consolidated 1 2 3. Can I stop rolling up? It is possible? No. whatever you enter, simply it will roll up to its parent account. Now అందరికి నోట్స్ అర్థమైందమ్మా? Even though this attribute is in account dimension, it is related to entity dimension. So if it is not ticked, the value will not be consolidated to its parent entity. See, this 200 did not roll up to its parent entity, US. So it will show only total value. Clear?
But then, what is the use of in account dimension page consolidation attribute, sir?
So some of the items you cannot, it should not roll up to its parent. Okay. Example, amma. So it is not selling price. Okay. So just give me 1 second. We have to change this as here. This one, right? So right click, rename, ISCONS underscore ratio. Okay. I put this like this. Now save as this one, save as metadata. Yes. I'll explain you in the system here. So yes, here I put TCS, Titan, Tisco, or Tata Sky. Then it is Tata GRP. So I put it as sales. We got 100 sales, 100 sales, 100 sales. This is 300. Right? Everybody understood this? Yes or no? Is this correct or not? Yes or no?
Correct, sir. Correct. Correct, sir.
Perfect. Same diagram. I'll put it. So here for is sales, I tick TSK tick is consolidated. Correct? Because yes,
Yes,
all
sir.
the data should roll up to its parent. Same thing. I'll take another example right here. This is not sales. This is my say debt equity ratio. Any ratio, okay? So now here the ratio is here I got 80%. For TCS I got 80%. For Titan I got 70%. For Tata Sky I got 60%. Now tell me what is the ratio for Tata Group? Is it 210? Have you ever seen
No,
a ratio more than 100%?
no, it is wrong.
Yes, it should not roll
210
up to its
divided by
parent.
3.
All these ratios should not roll up to its parent, right?
Yes.
So for debt equity ratio, I'll put it as is consolidated, not ticked. అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా? Some of the items should not roll up to its parent entity. Everyone clear? Yes or no? Then for those items, I never tick is consolidated. Clear? బిజినెస్ కేసు అర్థమైనట్టేనా అందరికీ? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో?
In this case, Tata Group debt equity ratio need to show means we need to
So
create formulas, right?
yes, it will calculate its own ratio. It will not roll up to its children will not roll up to its parent. It has its own data, right? It will roll up according to its own ratio. Clear?
For this one, we need to write any formula, otherwise it will take
Yes.
care automatically.
Yes, we have to write, right? Debt, just now I have shown this dynamic rule. We have to write this formula. Earnings per share is equal to net income divided by balance sheet.
Yes, yes. Okay.
So automatically it will have its own ratio. This particular Tata group will have its own ratio. Child data will never roll up to its parent entity. Clear?
Sir, when we prepare consolidation, automatically subsidiaries data also included in consolidation statement.
Correct. Yes.
Then
Only when you
we
tick is consolidated in account dimension. Only those accounts will be consolidated. Remaining accounts will not be consolidated. If you don't tick that one right, it will not be consolidated. Clear?
I'm asking that it includes data also, right?
Yeah, anything, everything.
Then TCS, Titan, Tata Sky data also include related to
Yes,
Tata
yes.
Group.
Here it will be 300 will be included in sales and then divided by number of net profit, etc. Right? That ratio 300 divided by total net profit. This will be calculated separately as per this consolidated data. Not, it will not roll up to from here. Clear? Kadamma. So okay, I'll explain you. This is net profit. Okay, here net profit I got 200, so 300 and 150. So total how much it is? 650. Now I want to calculate ratio, right? It will be calculated is equal to, here it will be calculated as, here it will be calculated as is equal to 6 net profit divided by sales, right, into 100. Okay, not this one, is equal to sales divided by net profit, into 100. See, now here also this values, right, is equal to sales. Done. It correct kada? Yes or no? It will be calculated like this, but these three will not be roll up to here. It will have its own value. Clear? అందరికి అర్థమైనట్టేనా? Yes or no? అర్థమైందా? Please confirm. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. అర్థమైంది సార్.
So particularly BTech students, yes or no? Ravi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ah. అంటే ఏంటిది, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద రేషియో, ఆల్ రేషియోస్ వీ నెవర్ టిక్ ఈజ్ కన్సాలిడేటెడ్ బికాస్ ద రేషియోస్ విల్ కన్సాలిడేట్. So here I don't want ratios to be consolidated. It has to calculate its own ratio. We have a net profit, right? Yes. We have sales, right? Here also we have, for Tata Group of also, it will be consolidated sales and consolidated net profit. It will calculate its own ratio here. So yes, let me, just give me 1 second. I have saved this as September 12, right? Yes. Now I load the metadata again. Load application elements, update, choose, load. Done. In this, right, it will throw an error message. So click on this, is consolidated, is consolidated. You have to use ratios word. Selling price remove. Done. Save it. Now we are good. Now say example is ratios. Okay, 300, and then see whether it will roll up to its parent or not. It won't roll up to its parent. అందరికి అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా? So we'll stop it here. So today is, since it is accounts, right, so it went for 10 minutes more. Let me stop the recording.